Hi, this is Ruth. Welcome to my channel. It's great to have you here and thanks for tuning in for what's going to be my last video of the year. So thank you all so much for watching throughout the year and supporting me on this journey of starting doing my own YouTube videos. And today I want to talk about 2020 being the year of you, and not in the cliched way of being the fittest, healthiest, most successful you. Really about how we can make, me included, how we can make 2020 the year of really stepping into our usness, you-ness, our uniqueness, and really looking at ways that I found that have helped me to do that might help you, avoiding the pitfalls that can often happen around this time of year. So I'm recording this just after Christmas. You can't see like my belly rolls here from all the food I've eaten. And it's really a time when I think we're all very vulnerable to being manipulated by this idea of a new us for the year ahead, and potentially like joining a gym, losing weight, becoming more successful at work, and having more things, and you know, it all these layers that can get built up. And I think Christmas can be a stark realization that we're really not happy. Like, we can have received lots of beautiful gifts on Christmas Day. We can have, you know, no real worries in terms of like finances and material stuff, but we can feel quite hollow and empty inside sometimes at Christmas, particularly afterwards in this no man's land between Christmas and New Year. So really being mindful of like the new year as an opportunity to discover you, and not through material external forces that can be bombarded with us at this time of year now. So one thing that we talk a lot about in counselling practice, and this is across Freud, the Freudian psychoanalysis, the Rogers person-centered counselling theory, there's a lot of overlap where we talk about this organismic self, which is a term that Carl Rogers uses, which is basically the person, the little tiny life force person that you were when you were born, and just like how amazing and pure and wondrous everything was when you were in that state of being your organismic self. And very quickly, from pretty much from birth onwards, we develop these layers of kind of people's expectations of us, how we're going to get our needs met, how we're going to get our desires, our pleasures met. And, you know, that comes from the very first cries that we make as a baby, you know, right through up until we go to school and we have parents and we have all these external forces and relationships, people telling us who they want us to be. And it's very easy to completely lose sight of that organismic self for a lot of us. So we can end up in relationships that are not right for us, jobs that are not right for us. We can end up doing a lot of things where if we sit back and actually look at what we're doing, we're thinking, why am I doing this? Like, am I even enjoying this? Is it good for me? Is it making me feel fulfilled? And often the answer is no. So the new year can be a really good time to really think about this organismic self, which is a bit of a wordy kind of technical term. But if we just call it the unique you, so we all have a unique fingerprint, all of us completely different. And I believe that is not an accident. So these things are not accidents, they are part of the huge scheme of the universe, and they're part of nature, and we all have a part to play. We all have a unique print to put on the world, and that is part of your organismic self, which can be covered over and over by all these layers and responsibilities and the environment that we're brought up in and that we grow up in. So it can be really challenging to connect back with that organismic self, but it is possible. So one of the ways that it's possible is to know, well, number one, to know it exists, which we've just covered. So the idea that within you lies this truth and this unique self. And one of the reasons why lots of people will go and see a therapist or go for counselling is because they will realise that there is a disparity between the self that they are today and the organismic self, and they realise that there is something not right. Something just doesn't feel right in their life. It doesn't feel right in their body. It doesn't feel right in their mind. It's causing them issues and challenges. So that's one of the reasons people will go and seek help. And one of the things that is really helpful is just to have that awareness that if you feel like things are not right as we're going into the new year in your life, just having that awareness of that knowing in the body and knowing in yourself that something isn't right is a huge step forward. It's a step out of the numbness and out of the kind of, sleepwalking that we can all do in aspects of our lives. So just having that awareness is a really big step forward. And then in terms of making changes in our life and wanting to discover more of ourselves and to make changes to make our lives more fulfilling and more in line with who we really are, sometimes is not an aha moment. It can be an aha moment, but a lot of the time it's a real journey and it's not an overnight thing. And sometimes it's not something that we can pin down to a year to say, by the time 2020 is over, I'm going to have found my organismic self again and I will have transformed. It doesn't always work that way. This can be a life's work, and it's really important to, I feel, not to have that strive into it. Obviously, sometimes things stir us up and make us take action, and that can be good, but there's a real difference between taking action from a place of energy and positivity and a place of striving. So first of all, the awareness. Second of all is really looking at what have you got in your life that you love, and what have you got in your life that you would like to change. So this could be like a good pen and paper, write down exercise, type, whatever you want to do. So just to really look at the things in your life that you love and that you are really enjoying, and then the things in your life that you're finding really difficult, and being really honest about those things. So you can get a really good idea of what you do that you love and why. So not just what you do, but the why. So for example, I have rediscovered a love of dance over the last, 4 or 5 years. So the idea that I love to do that, it's why do I love to do that? So I love to dance, and I love it because it's my life force, it's my Shakti energy, it's kind of like that libido that Freud talks about as being not just a sexual energy, but a life energy that needs to be expressed. So dance for me gives me that expression, and it keeps me sane because it allows me to move emotions through my body and through the music. So that would be a good example of the what and the why. And then when we're looking at things that we're finding quite difficult and that we want to change, again, the why of if something in your life doesn't feel right and is difficult and is causing you a lot of stress or pain, why is that? Is it because why does it not feel right? And this can be harder to do because if we like something, we pretty much know why we like it. If we're not happy in something, it can be more complex to break that down. So say, for example, you're not happy in a relationship, then it can be that you need to not just write down that you you know, it's something about the other person. It's really shining that light on yourself. Like, what is it that in me that's not being fulfilled in that way? Similarly, if it's a job, so if you're not happy in your work, like, what is it about that work? It's not just that you hate your boss, but maybe it's something that boss triggers in you. And so turning it back on, what's it about for you, rather than just kind of projecting it onto other people, is a really important part of that practice. So number one, having that awareness. Number two, writing down what you feel is feeling good, what's not feeling so good, the what, the why. And then from that, really giving yourself time to tune into what's right for you. Like, I'm not here to tell you how you should live your life. You know, I'm barely, you know, I'm just about being able to do that for myself. And so I think the third thing is really honouring what's right for you. So tuning into that intuition and just giving yourself as much time as you can to do that, whether it's having a run, going for a walk, taking a bath, being with a pet, or, you know, those things where we just sometimes get those breakthroughs because we're not thinking about it, we're not trying to do it, we're just being, and then sometimes we can get steps to help us. And as part of that time, like, one thing that's really helped me a lot is like looking at my inner child. So there's another video which I'll post at the end and I'll post below, is about like the power of the inner child. So really looking back at what you've enjoyed, like, what did you used to do when you didn't care what anyone thought? Before there was like Instagram, well, if you're my age, before there was internet, and like, what were you doing that was so much fun that you could just do for hours and hours and hours, like as a young person, as a teenager, and like doing more of that stuff if it still feels right and still resonates with you. So for example, like, I used to be obsessed with dancing, gymnastics, doing handstand after handstand after handstand, making up dance routines. So that's something like I've integrated into my life as an adult, and it's filled me with so much joy as a woman in a different way, but also with that inner child feel to it. So really, like, having that as part of the exercise is to like see what you enjoyed doing as a child, and thinking about if there's some way that you could start playing football again, or start painting again, or reconnecting with that time that you used to just like hang out with your friends a lot, and you would go and do stuff, and you would play football, like I say, or you would play netball, or whatever resonates with you from your childhood that you think you want to inject a little bit more of that into the coming year ahead. So they're just a few ideas really. And I didn't want this to be like kind of like a cheesy New Year post, but as I say, if we like take ourselves away from all of this like energy of selling us stuff and wanting us to look different and be different, and we really just think of 2020 as an opportunity to turn our eyes in and look at what's going on inside ourselves and the person that we want to be, then we can really come back. It's like coming home to the person that we were born as, and that's going to look different for every single one of us because we are all unique. And I just wish you all the best for the year ahead. Please don't put too much pressure on yourself. If you're feeling fat, if you're feeling a bit miserable, like I have been the last few days after Christmas, that's okay. And, you know, you're not alone in feeling like that. And I do hope that you will continue to enjoy watching my videos and I can continue to contribute something in 2020. You know, I'm really proud that I've been able to keep this up for a year. I've really enjoyed sharing a little bit of me with you guys so much, and I really appreciate every comment, every connection that I've made on here. So thank you everyone, and I will see you in the new year with some more videos. All right, take care, lots of love, bye.